So I've been doing a bit of online shopping, and when things come to me, they come with some padding so that while in transport, the stuff doesn't get crushed. You might see these little, we call them peanuts. They're not really peanut, but these are usually made of styrofoam. So that's plastic that's had air puffed in it to make it really squishy, and that means it'll absorb a lot of the shock if the package gets bumped around a lot. But a lot recently, there's been a lot of these ones coming out, and these are a lot of the biodegradable, environmentally friendly ones. And it took a while to design something like this because things that biodegrade tend to be edible by some form of organisms. And then you have to spray them with something to stop the organisms eating it. These apparently don't get insects and stuff and encourage them to eat it. I actually don't know exactly how they do that, but these ones are ones that often dissolve in water. So let's put a couple on the plate and let's have a look at what happens. So if I get my water here, pour some water on and let them sit there. We'll see how they dissolve. Let's try these ones. Do my styrofoam ones dissolve? I push them in, you'll see that these ones soon become mushy, mush, mush. Completely mushy. Unfortunately, my styrofoam ones don't dissolve. That's okay, they're not meant to dissolve. That's the whole design of them. So these ones, with their dissolving, it means that they can easily be rinsed and washed away. We can do a test to see if it's actually what sort of chemicals are in here, but I think it's a type of starch or something. So yes, they dissolve in water because of the way that they've been made up to break down. So what are these ones? We've been talking about solutes and solvents, and we found out that water is a common solvent, such as in this case, but there are other solvents around. And I showed you in a video how methylated spirits can be a solvent to dissolve things, and also how acetone dissolves things. And this is not something I recommend you do at home, unless your adult supervision is there and they're allowing you to do this. So I've got a plastic plate here. I actually don't know what type of plastic it is. I could guess. So just to make sure that I don't melt my plate as well or dissolve my plate, I'm just putting it in a little dish of aluminium foil. I don't want to use too much, but I'm going to get my acetone here. They do have child-safe locks because it's not something we want kids to be getting into. If you do have little siblings, you do make sure that you actually don't let them near this stuff. Show them if your parents are okay with it, but don't actually let them touch it. Okay, as I put it in there, you can kind of, and it's probably hard to see, that it's actually they're starting to shrink. They're starting to shrivel up. Okay, and as they're doing that, I don't particularly want to touch it. I could touch it with my hands, but I don't want to. They're getting all mushy and they're starting to break down and dissolve. If I had a styrofoam cup, the same thing would happen. Okay, and it's basically, yeah, so they're dissolving. I didn't use as much as I did the water on the other. The more I have, the better it will dissolve. So that's another example of something that dissolves with acetone. Okay, so there are lots of solvents around. Water is called the universal solvent though. And the reason for that is that a lot of the things that our bodies need, in fact, life needs to survive, is things that dissolve in water. In our whole bodies, they're made up of little bubbles called cells, and in those cells, everything's dissolved in water. So water is really important. We can't do anything in our bodies if we don't have enough water. Water not only transports stuff through our blood, but it also makes sure that we have the right chemicals going in and out of those cells. So water is really important. And when we're looking at what's going on other planets and whether we could possibly have life there, we're always looking for water. Water in a liquid form, because it doesn't work if it's solid or if it's gas. So water as a liquid is really important. That's why it's called the universal solvent. Even though it doesn't dissolve everything, it just dissolves a lot of the things that we need to live.